Well, get ready. CBDCs are coming to take your privacy away. Get ready for the central bank digital currency and to help basically lose your privacy. Your ability to pay for things in cash, severely limited or totally eliminated, actually, is quietly coming to the West. But other countries are saying, no thanks, this is a bridge too far. We will get there in a moment. But first, a troubling trend right now of banks across the United States randomly deciding to shut down bank accounts with no reason given whatsoever. Imagine now you have no choice, right? Because now I don't have a bank account. I can't use a bank, so I'm being forced to use a central bank digital currency because I have no bank. So what's going on here? 3 separate coin shop owners over the past few days that sell gold, silver coins suddenly found their bank accounts just totally shut down. The coin shop owner who operates a coin shop dealing in silver and gold received certified letters from the bank saying, hey, we're going to start the shutting down process. Watch.
I'll read some of the letter to you guys. And I've heard of this happening before. I just didn't believe that it would happen to me. So, dear customer, we're writing about your account. After a recent review, we have decided to end our relationship with you and close your accounts referenced above. As stated in your account agreement, we can close your account at any time for any reason with or without notice. We will begin our closing process on September 6, 2023. So they gave me basically a month. And in the letter, it says they're going to close even my credit cards I have with them. Isn't that nice of them?
That's very nice of them. You even close your credit cards. What's shocking is that the bank declined to provide any reason at all for their abrupt decision. We've heard a number of stories of people being debanked over the past few weeks here at the end of the summer. Our friends over at the Gray Zone suddenly found out that their GoFundMe pages were shut down.
We saw that during the pandemic. Parents groups who lost their PayPal accounts for advocating for school reopening.
Trucker convoy in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is not new, but now these letters are coming and without any prior notice, affecting multiple accounts, including those belonging to his children and wife, also shut down, like shutting down your children's accounts too? For what reason? And there's no recourse. What can you do? What can you do? So federal governments are terrified of cryptocurrencies, and they don't want you stocking up on gold and silver. They absolutely don't want that. They want you to use their currency, which they can print and create out of thin air, that they have total control over. It's why these companies are being sued out of existence. A lot of these crypto companies are being sued out of existence because they don't want it to be legal. They want crypto to be illegal. And they don't want companies to operate in this way. The governments want control. So now central bank digital currencies are coming, whether these countries are ready or not, according to the Wall Street Journal. And the CBDC is putting the government at the center of every single transaction. It gives the governments visibility into financial transactions, the ability to revoke money at any time. They don't like what you're spending it on. Tracking, of course, of gun sales, etc. It doesn't matter. They will revoke it. They will revoke your ability to buy these things. They've already been laying the groundwork for this during COVID, taking away cash. They don't want you to use cash. They told us stay away from cash, of course, because COVID could live on the surfaces of that. And we're hearing it again now as we enter this new phase of COVID this fall. Watch.
Well, health experts say the coronavirus can live on surfaces like cash for up to 10 days. That has many people worried about shopping and other everyday tasks.
Yeah, a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of these people that news station interviewed are really concerned about cash. Mm-hmm. Like they're really.
They don't want it.
We have a team of reporters tonight covering cash and how it's killing you. What's happening now, of course, dozens of countries have now moved out of the pilot program phase for the CBDCs. They're now getting close to launching their central bank digital currencies.
Can I just say that reminds me of like, we're not children where your mom says don't put pennies in your mouth. Like, I'm over that. I know better.
Yeah.
Right? I know money's dirty. I know to wash my hands.
If I'm ever, when I'm sitting there like Scrooge McDuck and I'm fondling through all of my gold
when you
coins,
do that,
when I take my bath every morning and I swim through my gold coins, I get out and then I take a shower.
Okay, good for you.
When I play with my giant piles of cash and I'm rolling around in my coronavirus cash.
You don't eat right after.
I don't eat. I wash my hands after playing with my coronavirus cash.
It doesn't go like cash burrito. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm an adult. I can handle it. So now these dozens of countries are now moved out of this pilot program phase, and they're getting closer to launching their CBDCs. Here is the CBDC tracking map to show you where things stand right now. So see if you can spot your country of choice here on this map. Let's just kind of go through what we're seeing here. Now, in pink is the 11 have launched, 21 pilot programs, 33 developed in the development stage right now. The United States in the development stage, Canada, Mexico in the development stage, all of North America in the development stage, Brazil in the development stage, and you can see again a lot of these turquoise, Colombia in the development stage, and then you have some of these in purple, which are in the launched phase. And you already have some that have said, we're done with these things. Like we're sort of inactive on these because we just don't think that it's working. And now you have some who are saying, we're done. Senegal is saying we're done with this. Nigeria also reporting that we're done with this. And you see some pilot programs, Russia, Kazakhstan, Australia. But yeah, you're starting to get some blowback now from some of these countries that are saying we're not going to use this anymore. We've given it a chance and we think that it's a terrible idea. So, for instance, 5 more countries have now abandoned CBDCs. So just kind of going through some of these countries here, Denmark, Japan, Ecuador, Japan specifically saying we tried it in 2020. We're not doing it anymore. Finland as well. And you have these countries that are saying we're not going to do it. We've given it a chance. Ecuador, Denmark, Finland, and Senegal as well, saying we're done with this. Nigeria is perhaps the biggest and most recent disaster case for CBDCs.
Even the countries that say that they're still in pilot program, Carol Roth in her book points out that China boasted really high adoption of CBDC accounts, but the average deposit was like $1 or between $1 and $3. So people had them and they were like, I don't think I really want to use it. I'll just put $1 and have it, see what comes of it. They're in a holding pattern. That doesn't mean that it's taking off by any measure.
No, and China, by the way, has also built their CBDCs with the use of banks as well. So it's in fact different than the way that the United States wants to do it, which is a federal program. Of course, now we know the largest banks in the United States have come out of this FedNow pilot program and are fully up and running on this for transactions. So this is happening. So the back-end FedNow program, which will settle transactions using the Fed, using this sort of digital FedNow currency behind Citibank, Bank of America, all those pilot programs that were rolled out, it's coming. It's absolutely covering. So CBDC would replace the current Treasury control of the currency and replace it with a Fed control of the currency. And this would change the dollar forever. Absolutely change the dollar forever. And the Fed is not elected. It can do basically whatever it wants. It barely answers to Congress. I mean, it's a joke to think that it even really answers to Congress. They like to pretend that they do, but they are omnipotent. They don't answer to Congress. They don't answer to you as a voter. They don't answer to anybody. And they will completely control the money supply. And the currency would be fully digitally controlled by them. Governor DeSantis in Florida is the only candidate saying no to CBDCs. No other presidential candidate, by the way, is saying no to this. He's introduced legislation that would make it illegal in Florida for CBDCs, calling it the Big Brother's digital dollar, and saying Florida would prohibit the use of federally sanctioned CBDC as money within Florida's Uniform Commercial Code. Ban CBDCs issued by foreign government reserves and central banks, including China's digital yuan. So he would ban the federal digital currency in Florida. And here's what he has to say about it. Listen.
A centralized digital currency is directly controlled and issued by the government to consumers, and it provides the government with a direct view of all consumer activities. And so this is something that is being proposed as somehow being environmentally sustainable, a way to increase access to consumers who lack the means to join a traditional bank. But as we've come to learn, Any way they can get into society to exercise their agenda, they will do it. So what the central bank digital currency is all about is surveilling Americans and controlling behavior of Americans and how.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So guys, it's coming. This is exactly what's about to happen to your currency, your digital dollar. Get ready for full control of this. And of course, the way that you can fight back on this is what Catherine Austin Fitts talks about, is to absolutely flood your local representatives with letters and phone calls and demonstrations and protests. And coming up a little bit later in the show, we're going to show you exactly how this is working in the state of New Mexico right now. When people take to the streets and say, enough is enough, we do not want this control. We do not want you to control our currency. We want to be able to use cash. We want to be able to pay the babysitter with cash. We want to be able to give a tip to somebody in cash. We don't want to be using all of this digital currency that is totally controlled. Every transaction is controlled by you. If I want to pay someone in cash, I can do that. If I want to run my business with cash, should be my constitutional right to use cash, to use this currency. But under this new plan, that is going to go away. So let us know your thoughts on this in the comments below and where we are with digital currency. Will you guys support a central bank digital currency? Are you excited about a digital currency? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this segment here at Redacted. We are live every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, trying to share the stories that the mainstream media will not cover. You should also come over and join our community of Redacted Rebels over at redacted.inc. That's our private locals community where we can share exclusive content that we simply cannot share here on YouTube. Come over and join the rebellion together right now by going to redacted.inc. We'll see you next time.